everybody? It's Pat Jones, and it's time for another Turf Zoom brought to you by Aquatrolls. And I am delighted here today to be with Josh Saunders from Lancaster Country Club. Josh, how are you?
I'm great, Pat. Thanks for having me.
How's the weather in Lancaster? A couple of months until the big day.
Yeah, I think today we actually just hit under 60 days from the week, so we're pretty excited. We're doing pretty well. It's obviously wet and cool right now, kind of that traditional ups and downs of spring weather. We had a great little stretch of 2 weeks where soil temps kind of jumped up when we started growing, so now they're slowing back down, and all us Brent grass growers in the world are kind of like in limbo right now, right? And
Uh,
even more so for those that are hosting a championship 6 weeks earlier than they did 10 years ago. So
well, tell us about that. Tell us about that before we get too far. So, number one, tell us how you got there. Tell me about your background and how you ended up in Lancaster.
golf has obviously been a huge part of my life. I mean, I was introduced to the game probably at 2 or 3 years old by my dad, and I jokingly say to anyone that ever asks, my parents actually considered daycare when I was growing up. So when I was an early teenager, my mom would drop me off at our local mom and pop place. And, I never was the kid that went to the pool or went and played with friends during the day. I was out walking 54 holes every day. And while I was playing, I obviously would see my surroundings and see the guys out working and, see them in irrigation holes fixing, and thought it was interested. And remember sitting down at dinner one night and telling my parents that's what I wanted to do. And the rest is kind of history. Went to Virginia Tech, got 2 degrees from there. I had a little period where I thought about going into architecture for golf. It was the
Mhm.
whole Tiger Boom era. So courses were being built left and right. And I thought about it, and I came from a one-stop sign town, so really small area. And, you know, um, first internship was at Westchester Country Club under
Wow,
Joe
that's a good
Lindsay.
start.
Dave Dudonis was an assistant living above the shop, and, he's the director there now. And I can't tell you how eye-opening that was to me. It was my first time seeing a walk mower, a 36-hole facility, just really opened my eyes to everything. And then I was fortunate that Alonzi had a connection with Benson from Augusta. So Augusta sent guys up to volunteer for the Buick Classic. Well, naturally, Pat, with my Southern personality in them, we hit it off. We spent the week joking, having fun. This was pre-cell phone days for me. So I came back from that internship, walked into our house at Tech. You could hear a pin drop amongst my roommates. All they could say is play the answer machine. And there was a message from Brad Owens asking me if I'd be interested in being an intern at Augusta. So I took the spring semester of '04 off. And
Wait, do you still have that message? Did you record it and keep
oh
it?
no, I didn't think about that back then. I was a college kid. Come on, I didn't think about much. So so I got the message, interviewed, and started in spring of '04, started on New Year's Day. And it was the year Phil won his first, jumped that far off the ground, probably our screen. And that just really paved my future. And graduated in '05 and went and worked for Pete Wynn at Kinlock Golf Club. Was there up until 2013. So I was there for the 2011 senior am, and really developed a strong relationship with the great Keith Happ during that period. And rest in peace, one of my big mentors along with Pete. And he paved the way for me to go to Longview in Pittsburgh, and went to Longview, was there. If you don't remember, my first year at Longview, I played in the clam bake with you at Sandbridge. If you don't remember that, it was
That's
myself
right.
and Toby
That's right. I do
King.
remember that.
And so long time ago, but good times. And was at Longview for 7 seasons. It's funny how we all reference to the seasons, right? It's not years in our world.
Yeah, right.
And heard of the opportunity at Lancaster, and you know again through Elliot Dowling became my agronomist and at Longview. And I think everyone that's paved my way in my career, Pete would tell you, Elliot would tell you, the tree of Pete would tell you, and a lot of my close friends, that championship golf has always been a dream of mine. it's been my number one focus that's driven my career. And, you know, and now here I am, 60 days from hosting my first major championship.
What was the thing you learned from Brad that sticks with you that time in the magical world of Augusta National? What was the thing that you think about a lot that he taught you?
How he treated his staff, the respect he had for those that he worked for, and how humble and laid back of a personality he is. Yet, I saw some moments. I think we all been that way. Pete was the same way at Kinlock, and just putting those in front of you. My dad used to always say, surround yourself with good people and good things will happen, right? And like, I'd hope that my legacy and those that work under me would feel and believe the same way.
So people are going to get a chance to see this golf course again that maybe haven't seen it. It's been, a few years since they've had a chance to be able
Nine
to take.
years,
Yeah, 9 years.
9 years.
So what are they going to see? What's so special about Lancaster?
Well, I think, it's how the community embraced it. It still remains the largest attended United States Women's Open in history. We're on pace to break that already with sales, or at least meet that again. So that just says a lot in how much a small community that's grown over the years is really embracing the championship. So I think that's the first thing they're going to notice is the atmosphere
Mhm.
and what's created. To me, the golf course is drastically different since 2015. I've heard nothing but great things in how the course played and how the course presented. And, there's been quite a few changes since 2015. We've removed a lot of trees,
Mhm.
which, is a good thing and a bad thing, depending on how you want to look at it, right? But we've created this atmosphere and this amphitheater now where you can see over 14 holes standing from one spot. So if you think about that throughout a week, that 135,000 people are going to be on your property, it's really going to create a stage. With that, obviously, with tree removal comes more light, it comes more wind flow, firmer conditions, et cetera, right? We all know that. We did a bunker renovation where we reinstated 11 bunkers from the original William Flynn design.
Right.
We
That's pretty unusual. That's not something that everybody does to go back to the original drawings.
Yeah, so Jim Nagel and I worked really hard on that, along with my greens chair. He's kind of the club historian, Rory Connaughton. And and then even some of our existing fairways, we shifted, enlarged a little bit, or tweaked to get more in landing zones to stay current with technology as well. So, I think they're going to see some changes there. We introduced over 11 acres of natives to provide contrast. Now there's all these open views. So instead of looking over a grand parkland type course, we have all these contrasts throughout. Added some length, narrowed some fairways, widened some fairways. We looked back at drawings up into the 60s and really felt that back in the day, number 2 and number 9, which would originally been the original 7 before we crossed the river, were conjoined. The fairways were joined. So we found this little burn that we really felt like was the original greenside bunker of number 2. And we turned that into a fairway bunker that dissects the two second and ninth hole, and we formed the fairways kind of around that. So I think the players are going to see a huge difference.
That's amazing. So the native areas that you created, is everybody going to hate you because you made it look easy, or are they legitimately relatively easy to maintain?
I think you got to define everybody. If my membership
Okay.
is in everybody, then the answer would probably be yes, right? But
Okay. Right.
the better play in the worlds are going to realize that they're out of the way, out of sight, out of mind. There are a lot of tee box areas where they're the visual off the tee, but not in play.
Yeah.
And then we kind of introduced a lot of on the backdrops of bunkers. So natives would roll into the backside of bunkers and some of the pods that Flynn has on our layout.
Yeah. Can't do better than William Flynn. It's
Yeah,
just about as good as it gets. Having two
absolutely.
of those right up the street from me at the country club and then Pepper Pike, there are often times undervalued clubs. You know,
Right.
one does not get the same attention. So I think that's another great thing about this event for you is to put some attention on Flynn. So when you look around this year and you have all these volunteers, where are they going to be from? Where's your volunteer team coming from?
We got them from all over. We even have some from overseas. Predominantly the Mid-Atlantic, Philadelphia region. I definitely have a few from my friends in the Pittsburgh area.
Mhm.
You know, really kind of placed focus on my network first. It was kind of like, look, I've been doing this for 20 years, and I had a lot of people approach me, including the women in turf.
Mhm.
And I'm a very big supportive of that. But, I told them, look, here's the deal. I've been doing this a long time and I want my opportunity of the network to be a part of this. And then we'll reach out and see how many positions we can fill. So, I have a great group of my friends that are sending assistant superintendents. I know they'll be up here. Anybody in the industry knows the Pete Wentry, and a lot of those guys from the DC area are going to be up. A lot of my friends in the Philly area are sending people along with
The
Pittsburgh.
DC Mafia, as we like
The
to call
DC
them.
Mafia. Yeah, you got it. So they'll be here. And then we have 15 individuals from the women's and turf that'll
Oh,
be here.
that's great. Good for
Yeah.
you.
So I'm excited with that too. And we got an individual from Denmark, Australia, so just a lot of people have reached out to me over the past 10, 12 months to be a part of the week.
That's amazing. So who besides the volunteers, who are your key team members coming into the championship this year? Who are the folks that you're going to rely on most?
Well, I have to say the entire staff. I mean, look, here's the deal. I set foot on this property 5 years ago, and it seems like something's happened for us every year, from a change of culture to COVID
Yeah.
to going through a renovation. This was our first winter since I sat foot on property that we didn't have dirt exposed anywhere, so we it, they're the biggest people I'm going to rely on. A lot of them have experience here from 2015, and we've grown so close over the years. I'm really excited to go through this with them. And then my management team, I have two assistants that were high schoolers when I started here and went on into turf, and now they're back as assistants, and two other assistants that have joined the team over the last few years have been great additions. And then ultimately it's my superintendent, Matt Wolf. I mean, he was an
Yeah.
intern for me
Right.
at Kinlock long time ago. We've definitely developed a love-hate relationship, right? And like he can finish my sentences now, and sometimes we have to separate each other. We're like that old married couple, right? And
Yeah.
he was an assistant for me at Longview and came here with me and is now my superintendent. So it's going to be a big ally for me. And we're all excited for the
But he'll
months to
also
come
keep
here.
you honest, just like Pete went, like you kept Pete went honest a few times,
Well,
I'm sure.
no, that was a tough battle. Trust me. We all knew that. We did our best. We learned a lot what not to do, but
Uh,
we also did our best. So
oh, Pete? No, Pete's a quiet guy. He never ever raises
I
his
got
voice
it.
or anything like that. So, what do you want people to know about the golf course? You know, it's a pretty special thing, and you've done all this work. But if there's sort of one thing you want people to watch for or be aware of, what would that be?
I just I hope, I put it in the realm of Augusta National, right? Like we all grew up watching Augusta, and you never really knew the topography until you set foot on that property, right? Like honestly, you never really knew. And to me, I hope that the way it's shown in a couple of months shows how great the topography is on this layout.
Yeah,
There's 14 uphill second shots. And then to show how Flynn and how great he was back in the 1900s with utilizing topography like this. And, it was a very north-south straight architect, right? Like really designed holes to what was right in front of him. Not very many cantered fairways here, just a few. But I really hope that's what the world sees is the topography, the use of terrain, and what we've done over years to protect his intent, but to create this atmosphere in this amphitheater that hopefully will stand the test of time and host championship golf for a long time to come.
Right. What's your vision of championship week for you? You know, because there's going to be all the stuff going on and the meetings and the media stuff like that. What do you kind of hope for that maybe you'll get a moment to yourself and be able to enjoy it? What's your vision of championship week nirvana?
I think I'll probably get that moment once Shannon puts the tee markers down on 18 on Sunday and I see that flag go in. But, I just want to take a step back and hopefully I can achieve that. I've been very blessed to have a lot of great friends in this industry that hopefully are take a part of it. I have my own story like we all do. And this is the pinnacle of my career, in my opinion. I may never get to do this again. So I know we'll be ready. Once you get to that Monday, there's no turning back, right? And although it's a little bigger scheme of things, it's traditionally the week before our member guests. So that's what I'm telling my staff. And, I want everybody to sit back and enjoy it. So hopefully I can do that too, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and it is funny how sometimes these events sort of coincide with your traditional big events anyway.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
you're not changing your agronomic timeline that much. Were there obviously there were a few things you're probably focusing on more. What were some of the key agronomic focus points that you want to make sure to hit between now and the event?
Well, I think it all started last fall, right? We did some inputs that we traditionally haven't, knowing that the event was 6 weeks earlier and being in late May, first weekend of June, so we did a few things there that we didn't, and ultimately it's just relying on what got you here, and I'm a firm believer of our program. I'm a firm believer in the products I use, big fan of Aquatrolls, of course, and they're going to play a key part in, the time of year and whether we have kind of a wet spring. We're already starting to get out some apps that we traditionally don't do, with Zipline, and going to go some different routes with doing some 1690 and land zones just to help firm it up a little bit more. So, you have all those little aspects, little tricks of the trade, little conversations I'm having with the other guys. But, ultimately, Pat, we've gotten here for a reason. So it's not broke. Why fix it? Utilize those that are around you, utilize your system, and we'll be good to go.
That's a great attitude. I love that. I mean, and that's really what it comes down to, though, is getting yourself to the point where all the hard work pays off and you can enjoy it.
Yeah, let's hope.
Well,
We're
I
always
hope
we're
so.
always at the mercy of Mother Nature, and I think that's the big question mark. But we'll be fine. We'll be fine. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I am too, and I'm gonna be right there with you for a few days, coming out to spend some time with you and your team.
Yeah, look
And
forward to having you.
well, be careful what you wish for, young man.
Well, I don't know if we're jumping off here, but I also have to say happy birthday to you. I don't know if it's time to sing
Actually,
happy birthday.
I'm
I
109
won't
years. I'm 109 years old
I
today.
won't share the text that Kevin's from Aquatrol sent me this morning.
Oh,
And
really?
he
Okay.
didn't say he didn't say 109. He was a little nicer than that. He wanted me to congratulate you on turning 100. But
Well,
I
I've had plenty of birthdays, but this is the first time that you're going to host a major, and I'm very excited for you. And I
appreciate that.
wish you and your team the best of luck.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us, and thank you for joining us for yet another Turf Zoom from our friends at Aquatrolls. Have a great day.